just وصفتين بنت.
Okay.
So, do you want me to say what this is?
You can.
Okay, so it's Baris Yamos. So Baris is rice in my language, and Moss is banana.
Dress.
Okay, so a ma'awis is like a shawl, like you tie it around your waist.
Yoruba.
Yeah, so yeah, Somali and Mai Mai.
Yoruba.
Also witnessed in the past as well, racism towards other people as well, and myself, especially when I was at school. And of course, during my school days, racism was common because media as well, TV as well. I remember the Roots series that was on during the 70s, and whenever we went to school, we were called these names. Africans, Pakistanis, Indian, we were called different kinds of names. But now, thank God for it, right? At least that's been shortened. But racism will always be there, whether in a good way or a bad way.
So I did experience it, and the way I dealt with it, I was with my friends, and then we all just like started arguing back because we first kept quiet, and then he just wouldn't stop. So we were on the bus, we were coming back from like going out to eat, and then we were agreeing, like we've had that before. Me and my friends were just like shrugging it off and just laughing to ourselves and just like having a conversation. Then he started shouting at us, telling us to shut up and stuff, calling me Osama bin Laden's daughter. And I just started laughing when he said that because I just found it funny. And then he was like, "What are you laughing at?" And then my friend started shouting at him. She was like, "Why are you like saying that about my friend?" And we just started arguing with him until he just like got off the bus because a stop came. But then other people started like getting involved, like people that were on the bus started standing up and stuff.
I've had countless, yeah. So there are other times where I've just kind of like brushed it off because I wasn't too sure on what to say. And there are times where I've went up to the person and was like, you can't say that. And they're just kind of like ignorant about it, just like, what do you mean? I'm like, and I kind of try to explain the background, but some get it and some don't. So there's not much you can really do in that situation, especially if you're by yourself and you think it's going to pose you in more danger, then you kind of just have to leave it. But if the person is like sort of educated, then I guess you can educate them even further. Well, that's how I would deal with it personally.
So at the time, I don't think I was suitable to deal with it. I don't think I was mature enough emotionally. So I think I just shrug it off or try and make excuses with the person and be like, oh, I'm pretty sure they meant it as a joke or it was not that deep and stuff like that. But now I know it was just pure ignorance.
I feel like it's not just like one experience, it's like a cumulative things that just come together But I think if you grow up and you're secure with who you are, like these things don't really, they have an effect on you, but you just kind of move on with it, and you have the understanding that like these people are just ignorant and they don't have an understanding of who you are as a person. So you just keep it pushing.
To ignore them. The best way I've dealt with racism personally is to take it through one ear and out the other, because at the end of the day they're just words, and I think it's all a mental game, and if you let them affect you, then you're the one who's losing.
Me personally, I have the same view on that. It is words at the end of the day, but if it does come to a physical contact, then I'm going to be equal and I'm going to use physical contact back.
Personally, like so when I was like in high school, and then maybe it's like sometimes it's hard to distinguish. Sometimes people can see it, but like I remember there was a time where I don't know, like I was with some group of friends and one of them just made a weird comment, just like the whole like like, and I'm just like, why is that? I don't know. He was trying to start a reaction or something like that, and I was like, what's this about? Like even me, I felt kind of like a bit of an imposter because it's like I didn't fully comprehend like I don't know, it could be like a Chinese kind of thing, and I'm just like, I don't know, I feel like I'm half offended, but then at the same time I'm not, because I'm just like, it doesn't comprehend kind of thing. But yeah, no, I think it's probably, I think it's just you have to stay kind of like strong, I guess, with that kind of thing, because that's so that these things don't affect you.
It's hard to say, because I didn't grow up in this country. I don't match with, or I mean, what it means in a group or whatever. I just more or less follow my career, and it's very hard to say for me. I don't see racism as such, like the fighting or shouting or abuses and that. Racism only in my career where people don't want to employ you. That's it. They tell you, like my experience is, they tell me to go to London to work instead of Glasgow because there is multicultural. But this is talking about 40 years ago. Yes, in Scotland it's quite hard if you're a foreigner, or because people not get used to it. But nowadays maybe it has changed, among the 40 something, I don't know about the 20s, but I think middle aged people, they are more tolerant now. I mean, in business, I don't come across racism. Only the Cantonese people, when they ask me to be their accountants and I can't speak Cantonese, they just put the phone down. That's all I experienced. But other than that, I don't. So it's hard to say.
I was in like a uni, and there was like more Chinese people than there was like Scottish people, but I think they knew that I was like half, so they put me in a group, and they all spoke their language, and I was just like, did they think that I could like speak Mandarin? So I was just like, and then at the same time I was like they were doing their own project, and I'm just like, what are you guys saying? So I think there's like that assumption as well, like it's like, oh, it's like you're half, you can speak it. So it's just, I don't know, I feel that's a conversation you need to have, is like a sort of like, you need to have more of a like discuss, like if they're going to put you in groups or whatever, just be like, no, can you speak this, blah blah blah. And, I think more transparency maybe needs to happen.
No, it's just when I was younger, and it was I just became daddy at the time, and we used to go to the east end of Glasgow quite a lot, and you're the only person walking the street with this Chinese guy, and I used to get discriminated, whereas people used to look behind them and then look me up and down as if there was a piece of dirt or something, or sometimes they would spit near my feet, and because some people are quite narrow-minded, and but as the years went on, obviously they get used to other cultures getting married intertwined with each other. So it's becoming more of a common thing nowadays. But in the first 10 years, it was really awful. But I experienced quite a lot of prejudice and stuff like that. So that's what happened to me.
Basically, try not to exacerbate the situation and walk away from it, because to confront it sometimes I feel as if you're going to cause heck of a lot more problems. So, and you'll never ever be able to resolve a problem of like racism straight away at that particular moment. So unfortunately, sometimes it's best just to walk away from it and just think of your safety and the safety of people that are with you.
The advice I'll give is take a note of it and write it down exactly what happened and what action did you take. Did you reply back? Did you just keep quiet? And did you report it? That's what I'll do. But what is the best way to report is if there's a third person there. And that third person is willing to assist you. That's the only way that I'll say. There's no other way.
It depends on the situation, but the same thing, report it or like just call them out on it as well. So then they know not to say that. They know like we won't keep quiet, that we've got our own like voices as well.
If you're comfortable about giving other people a sort of education that they've never had, like educating the person, then I would say give it to them. But obviously, you know your own boundaries, and if you feel like you're not too comfortable, then I say just shrug it off. But obviously, you need to have someone to speak to, like sort of a safety net.
So I'd personally say, speak to like your parents and stuff, like fellow people that understand. Maybe sometimes like if you have ethnic friends, I'm pretty sure they might have experienced the same thing. And if you don't, just speak to your parents, because they will understand and they'll advise you on how they will deal with it. Or older brothers, siblings, cousins, anyone.
My advice to them would be have an understanding of who you are as a person, your heritage, where you come from, where your family's from. And once you learn your history, you feel like a sense of proudness. So these kind of things and ignorant comments that people make won't affect you as much, and you just keep moving on.
Yeah, always keep your head up high, because at the end of the day, like I said, they're just words. Now, everyone's different. Some are more stronger than others. But if someone has to attack you through what you look like, could be because maybe, they hate you, and because maybe because they ain't you.
I think they should just ignore it, and if it is just verbal, if it is physical, then they shouldn't, and they should like put a stop to it themselves.
Maybe stay in their integrity and just sort of have a strong mind and be like, this is you, this is your, like, your being kind of thing. Like, no one should slag you for being somebody that you're not. So don't try to be who you're not. Just be you and be authentic. And
I think just walk away. You don't need to go into. If somebody shout at you and about racism, all they do is just walk away. I think anyway. There's no point confronting these type of people.
Well, nowadays it's against the law to call people names, and so because the law's on your side now, it's a different kettle of fish altogether. So I think you've got the police and the authorities on your side. So I think the best thing to do is Kim's daddy said, sort of walk away, but at the same time get it reported. And the more people report it, the better, because then they'll know how much racism there is going on in the world, in the country, in your city, or whatever it is that you're doing, you say. So I think these people should not be allowed to get away with it. And we need to really, really report it, and everybody stand together and do it.
My advice would be to first ask, was it actually racism in the sense of someone having a go at you because genuinely your skin colour or the way you speak, your language may be different or your accent's different, or was it that the person was just angry, infuriated, and when people get angry, they just say whatever is hurtful. And if it is racism and it's blatant that it is racism, then you have to speak to someone who can help you, whether it's your family member or a friend, or if you're a student, your teacher, or if it's at work, a senior member. Because the best thing is to do is to expose racism and not let it slip by when you have an opportunity to get someone to assist you or help you with that.
I've not experienced racism, but if I did, I would probably walk away on it depending on the situation. So if it was physical, obviously I'd talk to someone about it, but if it was like through words or something, if it was something petty, I would just walk away. Like, there's no point, because it would just lead to it being worse.
It's a good question, right? But very difficult to answer. Very, very difficult to answer. I don't think so. The racism issue will go. It will be there. It will always remain, and to remain in such a way that you won't notice it's racism. I don't think so. Racism will ever disappear. It will be there some way or another.
How they're doing it right now is like the protests and stuff, calling people out, reporting it, just speaking up for others. I think the way it's going is good, but it's never going to like go away, but it has decreased a lot, especially since like back in the old days and stuff.
I feel like racism will never fully just like be gone. I feel like there will be sort of some like racism left. So, but to minimize it, I would say maybe like more interaction with like within the people, because I feel like we're kind of quite segregated. But I would say maybe a youth club with everyone, or just activities that include all races, and just like maybe educational centers where people can get like more information, or even in schools, like they can bring something like that.
I think racism is always going to be part of our society. It's just something that is just instilled in human beings. But I think as we mix with each other and understand different communities and communicate with different communities and make friendships with others from different communities, our understandings of each other will like be greater, and therefore racism will start to be something that will lessen and lessen.
I think the introduction of having people from different cultures and different races and the workforce helps incredibly, especially in teaching, as a lot of pupils are targeted when it comes to racism, and I think it helps that you can maybe go to someone of maybe similar race or similar culture, or even someone else that faces the similar issues. Yeah, representation within school.
I think, there should be more like culture involved in like for like events, even in schools and things. There should be events for certain cultures, so that people that are outside of that culture also like know what happens inside a certain culture, and they can kind of have more respect for it.